Hi everyone. Let's deep dive into how to break into product management. The agenda is as shown on the screen. Okay. So we will quickly talk about what is product management. We will see what a product management manager does. We'll also look into what are the different types of product management roles and their career progression. We'll talk about also salary ranges expected in India, and then we'll get into what are the skills and knowledge required to break into a PM role. Post that, we will look into the roadmap, how to crack a PM interview. And lastly, we will briefly talk about what to study in case you are doing a preparation by yourself. Okay. So we'll start with introduction to product management. So to define product management, a product manager is someone who takes care of a product, who makes sure that the users who are coming to your product, who are coming to a product, are getting their problems solved via the product, right? So basically, a product manager will primarily be doing problem identification, understanding what is the problem that has to be solved, and defining a solution to the problem along with or working along with other product team members, which includes your development team, which includes design team, data analytics team, and stakeholders, right? Once the solution is there, you develop that solution or build the product and launch it, right? Post launch, the product manager is responsible for tracking the impact of the solution which has been provided, and iterate on to improve on or improve the solution which has been presented to the user, right? So basically, it involves a lot of collaboration across multiple teams to ensure that the product manager is solving the right problem, and the product manager is also solving the problem in an efficient manner, right? So that is what a product manager does. Let's talk about different flavors of product management, right? So if you are working for maybe a startup, right, or if you are building a product from scratch, for example, if we talk about a product which is widely used in India for tax filing, it's called Clear Tax. And if you think about probably 7 8 years back, there was no solution like Clear Tax. In that case, any individual who had to file taxes, it was very cumbersome process. If the person was filing by himself, he or she had to go to the income tax website, download an utility, fill that Excel utility, generate an XML out of it, and then upload that XML to the tax filing website, right? It was a very cumbersome process. The Excel utility was not very user friendly, and it was very difficult to file income taxes, right? So and it was very confusing as well. Let's say if you decide to avail the services of a chartered accountant. In that case, there was a problem that how do you know where to find chartered accountants? How can you trust the chartered accountant with the financial data? Will the chartered accountant be good enough to actually file the taxes correctly? What sort of fees will he or she be charging, right? So in that case, there were other problems associated with taking services as well. So that's when ClearTax came. It ensured that it created a utility which made it very easy for any individual to file taxes on their own, right? By just uploading the Form 16, which is issued by your employer. Let's say if we talk about if you are trying to avail the services of a chartered accountant because your tax filing is slightly complex. In that case, also the platform has qualified chartered accountants who are listed on the platform along with the ratings and reviews and the fees that they charge for their services. It is very easier for you to shortlist on a chartered accountant and then avail the services, right? So this was a problem which was solved from scratch. Let's say if you are working on a product which is already existing, it is not very likely that you would get to build a product from scratch, right? In case you join a company where the product is already existing and you are trying to maybe manage the product, right? Assume that you are working for a company which is having a food ordering app, right? So in that case, typically as a PM, as a SPM, you will be owning a piece of the entire user funnel. You won't be probably owning the entire funnel, and you will be taking care of that particular piece of the funnel. For example, let's say if we talk about a food ordering app, let's say the flow is from home, the user goes to the restaurant screen. Okay. From the restaurant screen, the user goes on to add certain items and goes to the cart screen. From the cart screen, the user checks out, and then the user goes to the payment screen. Okay, from the payment screen the user selects the payment method that he wants to use, which then redirects the user to the payment gateway screen, where in India the users have to input an OTP to complete the transaction. Once the payment gateway step is done, the user is redirected back to the app, and where he gets the order confirmation. Okay, so this could be one flow in a food ordering app. Typically, let's see that if you are a PM and you are owning the checkout to order confirmation flow, right? So this flow you are owning. In that case, as a PM, you have to ensure that you are always chasing the goals that you have for this part of the funnel. The goal could be conversion, right? So you have to make sure that the conversion is not dropping, conversion is always stable, and you are always working on to improve the conversion, right? That could be one goal that you are chasing as a PM. So you have to manage the conversion, you have to manage the entire flow, you have to make sure that the entire flow is efficient, so that you can keep the conversion up or maintain the conversion, right? Let's say one day you come to the office and you see that, okay, the data is showing that there was a drop in the conversion, right? In that case, what you will do, you will probably look at the entire funnel that you are owning and try to see if there was any drop at any stage of the funnel, right? You will try to understand what the pain point is, because everyone will be sending mails to you, people will be calling you to check, hey, what has happened, why conversion has dropped, why we are not getting so many orders, why users are complaining, etc., etc., right? In that case, you have to solve that problem. So you would try to see if there is any drop at any of the stage. In case, let's say you're not able to find that, okay, there is a significant drop at any stage, you might have to slice and dice the data to understand if this could be happening for a certain segment, for a certain geo, etc., right? So you might typically be maybe you will slice and dice the data by medium, right? So whether user has ordered via app, or the user has ordered via, let's say, website, or user has ordered via some of the partner apps where you have integration, right? So you would see the medium, if there is a medium which has led to the drop in conversion, right? In case you don't see anything there, you would also try to slice and dice the data more. You might look at geo, right? So is this drop localized to a certain geo or geography, in terms of probably are there like south, west, east, north kind of regions where this is dropped, right? This could lead to certain discovery of the problem, which you might have to solve to overcome this issue, right? Apart from that, you can look at probably, I mean, you can look at new versus repeat users, right? Is this only dropping for new users, or this drop is also observable for repeat user? Because I mean, the new versus repeat users, their flow, or I would say their journey, will be slightly different, because new user has to set up their delivery address, set up default address, set up payment method, etc., etc. So there could be something which might have gone wrong there as well, right? So you might have to slice and dice the data. You have to look at the longitudinal data and see if this drop has only happened once, or this has happened before as well, right? So you would typically be looking at data and trying to understand what has led to the drop. And with to find this out, you might be working with data analytics team, you might be working with development team to pull the data, etc., etc., from backend. And then once you have identified the problem, you will work with the team to develop a solution, and then eventually launch the fix, so that you can fix the conversion problem that you are facing, right? So this is a flavor of the kind of work that you will be doing as a product manager. Apart from that, you might be working for different kind of firms, right? If you are working for, let's say, as a PM in a customer support function and responsible for TAT, in case the TAT goes down, right, you might have to again then look at, okay, why the TAT has gone down. You have to look at maybe a different category of tickets, right? That if the TAT has increased for a particular category of tickets, if there is a particular geo where the tickets are not getting resolved, or where there is a significant issue which has led to increase in the TAT, etc., right? Or is there any other issue which has happened, and which has led to probably increase in TAT, right? So these kind of problems you will be solving. Apart from that, if you are working in this function, right, you might be working on to improve the TAT, right? So you will try always be looking at reducing the TAT for support ticket resolution. So you might be working on automation, you might be working on building tools for your support team so that they can do their work efficiently, etc. Right? So this is the flavor of work, or this is what a product manager would typically be doing. Okay. Now let's look at the entire product management life cycle. What does a product manager do on a day-to-day basis or over a longer period of time to understand what do they do, right? So if we try to identify, or if we try to classify the work of manager, we can classify their work in 5 stages, right? Which includes discovery, which means understanding what problem has to be solved, defining the solution to the problem that has been identified, planning with the team or working with the team to plan the solution, because you have to probably ensure that all the stakeholders are aligned and you can spend effort, or you can spend engineering effort on developing the solution. Once the alignment is there, you will work with the development team to build the solution and eventually launch the solution, right? So this is what you typically will be doing. In the discovery phase, you will primarily be looking at business data, you'll be looking at user behavior data, you might be doing user research along with design team to understand the pain points here, right? What are the pain points that I have to solve, right? Once you have the pain points, you will work with your product development team, which includes your design team, your development team, and maybe your data analytics team to come up with a solution, right? Along with the solution, you might also be coming up with impact and effort, so that you can probably quantify what is the impact of this solution and what is the effort which you have to put in to develop the solution. That is something which you have to do. Post that, you will work with your product heads, your engineering heads, etc., to align them to what to the problem that you are trying to solve. Also align the various stakeholders so that they are also agreeing to, okay, this problem has to be solved. And in case there is, let's say, a prior commitment with a stakeholder of doing or delivering certain feature, and they have to be and if that feature has to be deprioritized, then you have to align, or you have to work with the stakeholders to make sure that everyone gets aligned and agree to chasing this problem, right? For solution building. Okay. Once you have the alignment which is done, you'll work with development team. Here you'll be working with your devs, you'll be working with QA, you'll be working with program managers, etc., to create sprints of work and then execute or develop the solution. Post that, you will be doing UAT, you might be helping with QA, etc., to fix all the bugs and ensure that the solution is actually solving the problem. Once this is done, you will go into launching the product, where you might be coordinating with stakeholders to ensure that everyone is ready and trained to use the new feature. The budgets are allocated, the marketing team has already started creating the buzz about the new feature that you are launching, etc., etc., right? Post that, let's say once you have launched it, you will measure the impact. Once the impact is visible, you will communicate the impact to all the stakeholders so that you can show that, okay, the work or the effort that has been spent has actually given the benefits that you are chasing, right? And this whole cycle keeps on going. However, there is one point which I want to mention is that at any point of time, a product manager might be working on task at different stages, right? Some of the tasks might be in discovery phase, some of the tasks where he will be developing the solution, some of the tasks where he's already working with development team to probably launching a new future. And lastly, he might be probably tracking some of the features which have already launched, right? So he'll be working across the spectrum and managing his work to make sure that, okay, everything remains smooth and this whole cycle keeps on running smoothly, right? So that is what a product manager does. This involves a lot of juggling, right? A lot of juggling and a lot of prioritization that you have to do to make sure that you are always working on items which are giving you the impact that is desired for the or that is desired, or that is the goal that you are trying to chase. Okay. So that is something which a product manager does. There are different types of role of product manager, or there are different types of product manager that they exist. This is very much required because in case you are trying to apply for a role, you should understand what kind of PM role it is. And this slide might help you understand those roles. And this will also help you also try to prepare well for those interviews, right? So here it is. So these are the typical type of product manager roles. So the first one is product manager, and you can also call it as business product manager. These are the product managers who typically chase business metrics, and they are typically B2C kind. They manage B2C kind of products. Okay, and this primarily, I mean, involves chasing metrics like you might be chasing user growth. Okay, you might be chasing ARPU, you might be chasing probably you might be chasing things like CSAT, etc. Right? All the business driven metrics, right? You might be chasing probably revenue, etc. Right? So all the business uh, inclined metrics you will be chasing as part of this role. Okay, this role is not very technical, so you have to be a lot business focused. You have to be a lot better in terms of understanding of your users. I mean, so while user understanding is very much required for all the PM roles, but here the focus is a lot on users because there are the scale is very very high in such products, right? So you have to be like very good with understanding users and solving problems at scale. Okay, and typically you will be chasing business metric. An example of this will be probably Ken Norton from Google. When he was at Google, he was primarily chasing Google Docs. So during that time he might be chasing like, okay, things like if the users who are joining Google Docs, are they able to create documents or not, right? So he will be looking at the usability part of it. He might be looking at, okay, metrics like, okay, what is the average number of documents a typical user is creating, right? He might be changing those kind of metrics. As part of maps, he might be looking at okay, how many probably directions uh, are or maybe like you can say directions are being looked up in Google Maps by users, right? Average number of directions per user per month, something like that. Okay, so he would be chasing those kind of metrics which are business driven or which will help drive the business, right? uh, Similar, I mean, so any product manager who is working for typically for companies like Swiggy, Zomato, Zepto, Grubhub, or Airbnb, etc., right? They would be business product manager, right? Next is tech product manager. A tech product manager is a product manager who typically works on products which are complex and which are technical in nature. Okay, these are technical in terms of these are I would say in terms of software architecture or software technology, these are complex products, right? And this involves probably a product manager who might have to be understanding a bit of tech to be able to work in this scenario. Okay, that is what a tech product manager will be doing that. In this case, I mean, if you look at tech product manager roles, right, they might also be expecting product managers to understand system design and software architecture, right? So they should also be understanding some amount of software architecture, because since these products are very very technical, there is a lot which depends upon the software architecture or the technology which is being used in these products. And that is why these products or these product managers are slightly technical in nature. If you look at probably some of the technical product manager positions also, they might be looking for people who have graduated with a CS degree or they have worked as a developer, right? So in case you are applying for a technical product manager role, be assured that you would have to understand tech in a better manner. You have to understand system design, and probably you would also be understand probably algorithms and data structures, right? You might be asked. Okay, so you have to be understanding those things. An example of a tech product manager would be Marisa Maira. She was working for Google and she was taking care of AdWords. So AdWords is a very complex product, right? There are algorithms which kind of like matches the different ads to different, I would say, strings which are searched on Google, right? You have to ensure that okay, you understand the algorithm, because the matching algorithm, which means like which ad will be selected for a particular string, right? This is also an algorithm, right? It is called second price auction or something like that. Okay, so you have to understand that algorithm, right? This search result should be probably fetched within, I don't know, maybe probably 100 millisecond max, right? Okay, because like you have to respond to the user query very very fast, and Google have like actually used to show this data or stats to the user that okay, so many results were fetched within zero point 0.1 second, something like that, right? So this has to be like very very fast. Architecturally it has to be good. That's why a bit of software architecture knowledge is required for such kind of positions, right? So this is what a tech product manager does. Now comes the data product manager. Data product managers are typically product manager who work for or who work on data driven products, right? These are products which are data heavy products, okay, where you might be handling a very large chunk of data and processing it and probably showcasing it to the user who is intended to use that data. Okay, so these are called data product managers. Uh, Data product managers should also be working on technologies like artificial intelligence, machine learning, okay, and also the visualization of data. So these are particular, or these are certain skills which are required for data product manager. An example of that would be Yanli Kun, who is working for Facebook AI research. So Facebook generates a lot of user behavior data. Based on that, those user behavior data feeds into the Google feed Facebook feed algorithm, and it kind of like personalizes the content for you, right? Based on your preferences, based on your likings, etc. And that involves a lot of data churning, right? So these kind of PMs are involved in products which churn a lot of data and use that data to drive product decisions. Okay, so these are what a data product manager does. Some examples of data product manager would be someone probably who is working on maybe like a PM at Google Analytics, right? Where you have to look at the click stream data and show various insights about the user, about the product, by using that click stream data, right? Apart from that, there could be products like probably someone who is looking into some sort of financial product, right? There is a lot of transaction which is going on, so you have to look into the transaction. You have to probably detect some sort of fraud, right? You have to probably create visualization or reports about that data. All of those kind of products will be data heavy products, and PMs there would be typically data product manager who are able to handle a lot of data, who understand data, and also have certain skills around machine learning, AI, and visualization of data. Okay. Next is growth product manager. So growth product manager is a product manager who typically works on product-led growth, right? Okay, which means he works on or he builds feature which helps drive the growth for the product by by product users, right? Which means like users are using the product, and the core loops or different mechanisms in the product is such that users are enticed to use more and more or come back more often to the product, right? Products like I would say probably Duolingo, etc., right? Which have used gamification to drive product growth, right? Or maybe a product like Facebook, right? Where they have used hooked model to drive user engagement, right? Hooked model is nothing that when a user receives a trigger and he takes an action on it, suppose that he gets some sort of variable reward which led him to invest more into the product, and then it kinds of becomes like I would say a virtuous or some sort of like loop which engages the user further, and the user is like kind of like hooked to the product, right? So these kind of product managers are called growth product manager. An example will be Chamath, who was at Facebook and he was the VP of user growth, right? So such kind of product managers will be called growth product managers. Next is enterprise product manager. As the name says, these kind of product managers typically work on enterprise products. Okay. Enterprise products are slightly different in the way that they are built for businesses. Okay. And their core priority is to ensure that the products are scalable, they are stable, they are secure, and so on and so forth, right? So there are like the priorities are slightly different, right? So this is what our enterprise product is. And another very I would say pertinent or very valid example of enterprise product would be that, okay, uh, these products are usually sales driven. Okay, so here the PM who is working at a probably enterprise product manager, he might be working with sales as a key stakeholder to build the roadmap, right? So sales driven, the roadmap is a lot more influenced by the sales. Okay, the kind of products which can be called enterprise product managers manage enterprise product will be probably something like Zoho, something like probably Freshwork, something like probably Salesforce, right? So all of these products are enterprise products. Apart from that, there could be products in telephony like Twilio, Plivo, etc., etc. Right? All of these products are enterprise products because they are built for enterprises. Okay, so that is all about the different type of PM roles. You have to understand the PM role, and this will help you understand the kind of skill sets which will be required in these PM roles and the kind of questions which will come your way during the interview process. Okay, so let's move on to the next section, which is how does a product manager progresses in his or her career. So if you look at the career progression, usually it starts with APM and culminates, VP or a SVP or maybe a CPO, right? And as you go through the entire career progression, there are certain things which you will see changing, right? So one is that, okay, as you grow into the overall hierarchy of product roles, right? The strategy part will keep on increasing, right? So here, if you are joining as a associate product manager, so there might not be any flavor of strategy, right? You would mostly be executing. You might be just be given one feature or maybe one task on the roadmap which you have to execute. But as you grow further into the role, the strategy will keep on increasing, and you will be participating and eventually leading the strategy, right? So here you will probably start at a director level. You will start building the strategy for the piece of product that you are owning, right? Apart from that, stakeholder management also will keep on increasing as you progress from APM to PM role, right? Your portfolio will also keep on increasing, which means like here you are probably only owning a certain task. Eventually, you will start owning an entire module or an entire product or an entire user flow, right? So that is what used to happen. So this will keep on increasing. Similarly, as you grow into the role, your people management responsibility will also be growing or will start coming. So someone who is probably at a SPM role or a LPM level will start getting people management responsibility as well. Okay, and this will keep on growing where you will start heading a team, etc., etc., and leading the goal for the entire team. So this is the overall hierarchy of or overall progression of PM career. If you look at salary ranges, these salary ranges are for Indian positions, and these are cash components. There could be certain ESOP component over and above this as well, right? These are typical ranges. Of course, there could be outliers as well. So relate this to in terms of years of experience. So anyone who has 0 to 4 years of experience in a PM role typically will be earning anywhere between 5 to 15 lakhs of Indian rupees, right? Similarly, someone who is between 2 to 5 will be in this range. And as you grow, right, it will keep on increasing. Probably like if you reach a director level, you might be earning anywhere between 40 lakhs to 1 CR, even more than 1 CR for companies which are paying well, right? And VP or maybe like above, they might be earning over 1 CR as well. So this is how the different salary ranges look like based on the number of experience. Try to tie it with the number of experience rather than the roles, right? Because the roles are not standard in many companies, right? So maybe like someone who is a director PM at one company, when he joins a bigger organization like Salesforce or Microsoft, he might be joining as a lead PM, right? Or he might be joining as a group PM. So don't relate or don't correlate your salary with designation, but with number of years of experience, and this is the range that is applicable for that sort of experience. Okay, with this, let's move on to the next slide, which is around what are the skills which are required for any PM, right? So this is something which we should talk about. So if you talk about various skills which will be required for any PM, uh, the first one is analytical skill. So analytical skill is all about looking at a data and being able to derive insights out of it. This also includes maybe you being able to having or you being comfortable with data, right? And this can be assessed during an interview as well, where you might get guesstimate kind of questions, and which will help the interviewer assess whether you are comfortable with working with data or not, right? So those kind of questions might come your way. Apart from that, you might also be given some sort of maybe a scenario or a problem, and you might be asked to respond to that, and maybe the way you handle or maybe the way you process the information will showcase your analytical skills as part of the problem, right? So that is something which you should be trying to develop. This is a skill which will be assessed during an interview. This is also a learnable skill. So once you start practicing analyzing problem statements, you will be able to understand this better. Next is product mindset. Product mindset is more about understanding the product and users need. It is also about probably having some sort of empathy, so that you can probably put yourself into the customer shoes and be able to understand what is the problem that has to be solved. This can also be and in fact this will be assessed during an interview whenever you are solving a problem. Let's say if you are given any practical problem to critique a product, or maybe find a solution to a problem which is around you, then the interviewer will be able to understand your product mindset, and if you are able to probably like think from users and product point of view or not, right? And that is something which you have to develop. Next is design sense. It is all about uh, understanding or maybe like being able to tell a good versus bad experience, right? This comes with practice. If you keep on looking at various products, if you uh, keep on doing product tear downs, etc., you'll be able to develop design sense as well, which will help you showcase in your interview. So let's say if you are trying to if you have been asked to probably create a simple wireframe for a particular product which you have which you have just spoken about, then probably those kind of things can be assessed. Apart from that, there could be questions like tell me about a product which you love or which you think is very well designed. Those kind of problems can help you showcase your design sense, right? So you have to be developing that design sense or design understanding as well. Next is problem solving, which is about looking at a problem and being able to think from first principle and solving it creatively. This can be probably assessed in terms of guesstimate questions as well. Apart from that, there could be hypothetical, I would say, product problems, or maybe which can be posed to you, which can showcase your problem solving skills. All of these are assessed during an interview, so you have to practice and learn these skills, right? And all of these skills typically can be learned by looking at a lot of products and doing a critique of those product, or finding the improvements in those products, right? So this is also called product tear down. If you keep on doing product tear down, you'll be able to develop these skills. Okay. Next is technical aptitude. Technical aptitude means being able to understand how things work in a digital world. You should be able to understand how web-based systems work, what is cloud, what is a cloud application, etc., etc. Right? What is a database, and you should be comfortable in talking to technical folks and talking about technology. Right? You should not be afraid or probably like conscious when talking anything technical, right? So that is something which you have to develop so that you can be comfortable. And in case you are applying for a tech PM role, you have to definitely understand this better so that you can pass those data structure or algo questions or maybe system design kind of questions, right? So that is why it is important for you. Okay. For a business PM, this may not or may be asked or may be assessed during an interview. Typically, this will happen when you might have some sort of peer round or maybe engineering round, right? So peer round could be with a software developer where you would have to showcase that you can actually work with the technical team, right? Or you understand certain basic concepts. So that's why you have to understand or you should have a bit of technical aptitude as well. Next is uh, next is communication. So you have to communicate well, and not just communicate, you have to showcase your structured communication. This kind of skill will definitely be assessed during an interview when you are attempting any sort of problem solving, when you are trying to answer to any sort of behavioral questions, right? So this will be assessed. You have to understand the question and answer it in a structured manner. Maybe a framework like STAR will help you answer your or frame your question answers in a better manner. Okay. Next is product strategy. Product strategy is primarily about understanding the domain and the competitive landscape. It's not, I mean, so you might not be assessed around product strategy, but let's say if you're solving any problem, let's say if you're solving a problem in the cab hailing industry, at least you should be understanding what are the key problems which are pertaining or which are prevalent in cab hailing industry. What are the competitive maybe advantages a certain player has, who are the different competitors, etc., etc. What are the substitutes, etc., right, for the industry. So those things you should be understanding, and that is where product strategy will come into play. And in case while doing a while solving a problem, if you are able to showcase a bit of strategy part as well, it will be very, very good for you in terms of showcasing your strategic thinking and coming across as someone who is like intelligent and someone who is a good candidate. Okay. Next three skills are primarily soft skills, which are leadership, stakeholder management, and project management. This primarily assesses you whether you are taking initiative or not. Stakeholder management, if you have done any sort of stakeholder management, if you have negotiated on something, if you have aligned people onto your goals, etc., etc. So those things have will be assessed. Okay. So these are maybe they may or may not be assessed, but for experienced candidates, these sort of skills will be assessed, right? And this will come in the form of behavioral question. So you have to ensure that you are preparing for those behavioral questions related to leadership, stakeholder management, and project management. Okay. So this is all about all the skills which are required. Next, moving on to what are the different steps to crack a PM interview. The first thing is that you have to understand or you have to get the foundational knowledge. You have to have basic understanding of how to solve a problem, how to create a wireframe, how to probably prioritize different problems and solutions which you are coming up, how to define the metric for the solution that you have built, right, etc. So those things will come by looking at the foundational knowledge. So this is something which you have to which you have to work upon and build this knowledge, right? Next is PM skills. These are primarily the soft skills which I talked about, probably design sense, technical aptitude, communication, etc., etc., right? So these are certain skills which you have to develop to be able to showcase or to be able to come across as candidate who can not just like knows about stuff but can also solve problems, can also appreciate or maybe critique a product, can also communicate well, can also talk about situations where he or she has probably managed stakeholders, he or she has uh, managed the different dependencies in a project and was able to deliver the project on time, etc. Right? So, which is project management. Once you have these things, in case you are probably anywhere less than, I would say now it is required for even senior folks, but in case you are less than 3 years, you should definitely have a product portfolio, right? It's probably 3 to 4 years. Okay. You should definitely have a product portfolio, which is a showcase of all the product related work which you have done. If you have solved any problem, if you have done any sort of wireframing, right? All those things have to be showcased in a product portfolio, which should be part of your resume, so that someone can look at the product portfolio and understand your understanding of the product domain. This is also very much required because nowadays the expectation is that any APM or PM who is joining should be able to hit the ground running, right? So there is no one who is going to mentor you, who would be teaching you how to get things done, right? So you have to understand certain basic aspects of product management, and this will help you showcase those skills and that knowledge, and will help you get a shortlist, or at least come across as a stronger candidate. Okay. Next is build a strong resume, which means that you should have a resume which talks about impact, which showcases the various PM skills which we have just talked about. Okay. So you should have a strong resume. After that, prepare for the interview by preparing for various type of questions like behavioral questions, your guesstimate questions, your problem solving questions, right? Your probably strategy questions, right? For senior folks. Okay. So this is something which you have to prepare or you have to work upon to be able to crack that interview. Okay. So this is the entire, I would say, roadmap for this, and start with the foundational knowledge and keep developing PM skill at your current workplace, at your college, etc. And then eventually, once you have a sufficient knowledge, build your portfolio, build a strong resume, and start applying. Okay, this is the entire roadmap. Now the next question is like, okay, in case let's say you are trying to prepare on your own, then what you can do, okay, you have to get into, or maybe like have a clarity on what to read, right? So in that case, you should look at maybe certain courses which are available and try to see what they are teaching, and based on that you can develop your, or you can create your I would say the knowledge or the reading material, right? You can look at that. Okay. A similar thing which I will probably showcase here is this is the course structure for PM stack. This is something which you should at least have understanding of before start appearing for the interview. So you can understand what is product management, what is product thinking, right? Develop product sense by doing product tear downs, etc., etc., right? Apart from that, learn a bit about user and market research. Okay. Understand the design thinking process, uh, do a couple of wireframes so that you can showcase the kind of solutions that you have developed, uh, understand how to prioritize different solutions, right? And also how to do effort estimation, understand concepts like minimum viable products, understand the different metrics, and how to probably think from first principle to define the metrics for the solutions that you have built, right? Things like this. Okay. Next is, okay, you can also look at probably try to create maybe one product requirements documents as a showcase, so that you can showcase how deeply you can think about a topic, how good are you in terms of documentation, in terms of probably creating a requirements document. So create a product requirements document, learn a bit about strategy, probably like learn about various industries, etc., which will help you respond to the problem solving questions in a better manner. Uh, if you are interested, you can learn about design patterns and design system. This thing will not probably help you crack the PM interview, but as part of the course, I teach this because this will be very, very useful when you actually become a PM, right? So not just for cracking point of view. In case you are aware of what is a design system, etc., it will be very helpful for you. You can understand the North Star framework because everyone talks about the North Star metric. You should understand this so that you can define the North Star metric, the L1, L2 metrics, etc. Right? Uh, Understand how to build a product roadmap. Understand a bit about web analytics. How does that happen? Understand a bit about data analysis. In case you know SQL, it will be a plus point in your CV. So maybe spend some time on learning the basics of SQL and add that to your CV, right? Which will be a good point in case you are a junior PM. Okay, understand how to do A/B testing, learn about stakeholder management, etc., etc. Right? So these are the topics that you should touch upon, and some of the topics you should go deep dive into. Apart from that, you should definitely understand how to work in an agile environment, understand about at least Scrum framework, maybe Kanban as well. Just understand how the framework works, right? Build certain tech concepts so that in case you have a peer interview round or you have maybe an engineering manager round, you are able to crack those interview, and at least those things doesn't become veto because you are not able to converse or you're able to work or talk to them comfortably, right? So being able to comfortably talk to them involves you understanding basic tech concepts, right? Okay, so this is something which you should read about and learn more about. Create a probably some sort of playlist, some sort of like uh, maybe like a list of URLs, a list of blogs that you should read on those topics, and then take it from there. Once you are probably like you have done this, you should go into practicing some of those, build your product portfolio, and then parallelly build a resume and then go for appearing for interview. I hope this was helpful. Let me know in case you have any question. Do reach out to me on LinkedIn, and and also like you can also check out more videos on my YouTube channel where I have spoken about various things which will help you get better understanding about product management. I hope this was helpful. Thank you everyone. Have a good day and best of luck.